all make mistakes when we travel. We're out of our comfort zone, we're in a new place. Over the years, I have made some really dumb purchases and we're just excited to go on vacation. But sometimes these mistakes could probably be prevented, especially like spending a lot of money on a plane ticket. So in today's video, I'm talking about my top 15 travel mistakes that I made when I went to Japan. You could probably apply this to any future trip that you have coming up. I really hope you don't repeat them. Be sure to grab your tea or coffee. Today I am drinking jasmine tea. It's nice and floral and fruity. So I really hope to create more of these like chit-chatty style videos so you can get to know me a little bit better and we can just kind of hang out and talk. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new by clicking on the button here or down below. So without further ado, let's hop into this video. Go! If you were to ask me what my first mistake was probably not purchasing Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi or even getting a SIM card in Japan is actually really cheap. It only costs about $10 a day. You could probably download your Google Maps or rely on hotel Wi-Fi, but sometimes it's a little bit spotty and you kind of have to make decisions on the go. Sometimes I found myself kind of lost walking around Shinjuku and Harajuku and I'm like, where should I go to eat? You can pick up a portable Wi-Fi card at the airport or even at the hotel, and it's really cheap. It's about $10 a day. Mistake number 2 was not doing enough research on all of the different modes of transportation. In Japan, there are so many different types of transportation options. There's the JR train, you can Uber, take a taxi, you can ride the bus, like the options are endless. So there are certain ways you can save money if you do your research beforehand. I'll link one of my favorite blog posts down below. She did a great job talking about whether or not you should buy the JR pass. So yeah, be sure to go check it out. Mistake number 3 was probably packing for the wrong season. When I went around the end of March, I seriously thought it would be like spring and summer weather. It'd be nice and hot where I could wear dresses, and it was a brutal awakening because it was freezing there. I was so cold and I really wish I had just done a quick like 5-second weather research and see that yes, it is really cold, you should layer up. It will definitely benefit you in the long run. Another thing I noticed was I probably wore clothing that was kind of inappropriate for people in Japan. So in Japan, people don't typically like flip-flops, leggings, or like ultra revealing clothing, like off-shoulder items. I seriously did not see a lot of. When you're traveling, you want to feel like you're blending in and not standing out like a sore thumb. I really want to make a full video on this topic. Let me know if you'd be interested on what you should and should not wear in Japan. Comment down below. Mistake number 5. Not buying your souvenirs early enough. In Japan, there's so many duty-free shopping options, which literally means you don't have to pay tax on the things that you buy. No joke, I probably went to 5 duty-free stores looking for strawberry Kit Kats and they were completely sold out. So if you see something you like, just get it. You're planning your next travel destination and you can't decide whether you want to stay at a hotel or an Airbnb. Sometimes the Airbnb can give you a more local and more authentic experience than staying at a hotel. But each one has its pros and cons. So which one's better? Hi friends, welcome to my Airbnb here in Osaka, Japan. When you walk through the front door, you get this little hallway and immediately to your right you have a sink, a stove, you have your microwave, water kettle, fridge with freezer and refrigerator. The bathroom, you have your traditional Toto toilet and then a huge bathtub. The walls were not insulated. I could hear someone eating breakfast in the morning and their chopsticks tapping on the bowl, and it was just so frustrating for me because I really missed the quietness of staying at the hotel. And yes, you do get more space. If you're checking out really early in the morning and you're heading out for a flight that day, you want a place to store your bags. And staying at a hotel is great because you can put your bags in the back and they'll store it for you for free. My main reason for going to Japan was to see the cherry blossoms. That was all I wanted to see. So I booked my trip for the end of March, not knowing that the cherry blossoms actually bloom about April. So a really cool tip for you guys is to look up the location tag on Instagram of popular cherry blossom spots and see if they're actually in full bloom. I noticed that some people will post pictures from like years ago, so I thought, oh my gosh, they're in full bloom. But in actuality, the trees were pretty bare when I went. Location tags are super helpful with looking up the weather, seeing if a restaurant is busy, finding local cafes that you might not have discovered on your own on Google, and maybe places that only locals go to. So I will link a few of my favorite hashtags over here and down below. Tip number 7 is to get cash. You want to avoid really expensive transaction fees that can go up to 10%. You can also avoid transaction fees by using a travel credit card. Bank of America and Chase makes a really good one, and they don't charge any fees for using your card international. Not wearing comfortable shoes. I probably walked anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per day, and Japan is just one of those places where you want to get lost and explore. So definitely ditch those high heels because you're not going to go very far in them. You're going to deal with a lot of foot pain. There's also not that many places to sit, so be sure to find some like flat shoes, sneakers, really chunky shoes, because those are the ones that will last you all day long with no foot pain or back pain. Whew, I've been talking a lot. I probably should take more sips of my tea before it gets cold. I always kind of forget about my tea and then it gets kind of lukewarm. Does that ever happen to you guys? Number 9. I regret not bringing a bigger suitcase. Japan is definitely the spot where you can find all of these little trinkets, unique fashion items, accessories, shoes, and you don't want to miss out. Everyone going there is definitely doing it right with like a ton of duty-free items. So pack a bigger suitcase. This is not a place where you bring just a carry-on, trust me. Oh my gosh, the jet lag from traveling from San Francisco to Japan was brutal.
Made it to the top. Scott's a little tired. He hasn't had his coffee yet, so he's crying.
I probably spent about 4 days just trying to recover from jet lag when I landed. So that's a lot of time wasted. So a great tip for you is to try to prep yourself beforehand. Try pulling a few all-nighters maybe 2 days before your trip, and trust me, it will help you so much better. If you can't pull the all-nighters, bring with you some melatonin. This is a natural ingredient that helps you fall asleep. It will make your trip a lot more bearable and your trip home a lot more comfortable. Konnichiwa! Arigatou gozaimasu! When you're traveling to Japan, you'll notice that everyone speaks Japanese and people are very polite there. Great tip is to download Google Translate. It's completely free. You could scan photos of menus if you don't understand what's on there. You could take pictures of things, scan it, translate live. This is so helpful. So a few helpful words to learn is thank you, which is arigatou gozaimashita. Be sure to learn a few simple key Japanese words, which will definitely take you a long way. Did you know that Japan will be hosting the Olympics in 2020? Well, that just means that it's going to get even more crowded. Japan is notoriously a very popular tourist destination during the spring season, especially for the sakura flowers or the cherry blossom flowers. there are so many people everywhere going to restaurants. There will be lines out the door, going to popular temples and shrines. If you're planning on taking pictures, be sure to research ahead of time on Google and see what are some times where there's more people and there's less people. I find that the least busy time of day is probably near sunset or like off-peak hours. Should you go eat at that really popular restaurant that has over 1,000 reviews on Google? Well, it's really up to you, but in my opinion, I would rather not wait about an hour or two just to eat like a really famous donut or ramen noodles. I'd rather spend my time more wisely because time is precious. You don't want to waste it just standing in line. Waiting time for popular restaurants could be really long, like boba shops, desserts, ramen, or even sushi. The queue could be extra high during peak lunch or dinner hours. So go during off-peak hours, do a quick Google research on times of days when there are less people. My 14th regret is not meeting up with a local. I really enjoy getting to know the culture. I really wanted to know, what is it really like to live in Japan? Because sometimes I find myself doing all of the touristy things. You know, even here living in San Francisco, I might not go to Fisherman's Wharf or walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. But these are very touristy things that people see on Instagram and they kind of get sucked into doing because you think you want to do all of the quick highlights first and then do the normal, more mundane, everyday things. We made it a point to at least one day do everyday normal things that we would do back at home just to get a sense of what it'd be like to live as a local. My last and final mistake is not bringing with me a water bottle. When you're traveling, you're probably doing a ton of walking and exploring.
Currently in the designer fruit section where everything costs more than $7. Hey, that's the cheapest one, yeah. And then
$3 for the box.
$20 watermelon, $15 apricots, $20 strawberries.
And you probably don't want to spend a lot of money on plastic water bottles, so bringing your own even to the airport is super helpful. This one is super cute. It's from Beaker or BKR. It also has a lip balm on the top to keep your lips nice and moisturized so you don't have chapped lips during your trip. So I will link this for you guys down below if you're interested in purchasing this one. But yeah, any reusable bottle is so helpful. So those were my top 15 travel mistakes that I made while I went to Japan. Looking back, I realized I probably could have planned a little bit better for this trip, especially because it was quite pricey and I went for about 16 days. Comment down below and share with us what is your most silly travel mistake that you've ever made and what was a lesson from it. I'd love to know and read it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My username is Fashion by Ali. I love to share style inspiration and outfit ideas over there. I love you guys all so much and I will see you in my next video. Bye!